Hi guys, today is just an ordinary boring Wednesday and I hadn't really planned on sharing anything with you. I got home from work about an hour ago and I've been hard at work. And the reason is, I got thrown kind of a curveball yesterday. Yesterday I cleaned the bilge pretty thoroughly and it was squeaky dry. Then about 3 hours later I wanted to check something in the bilge, I can't remember what. But I opened up the bilge and there was water in there, which is kind of odd because the boat is up on the hard and also it hadn't really been raining, so what was that water doing there? I started examining the bilge and well, of course the bilge didn't look like this yesterday, but there was kind of a soft spot right around here. So I pushed on it and water seeped out. I took a knife to it and it turns out this stuff is what used to be, at least, plywood. So yeah, this is totally utterly useless now, so all this will have to come out. I started taking a closer look at this and I reached up under here and it turns out there's a bit of a lip up here. I think you can still see it in this corner, and there's a lot of standing water up under here, and of course that's what's been seeping into the plywood and rotting it, and I think that's been going on for years and years. And what's on the other side of this is actually the mast step truss, and we'll get back to that a little later in this video. I want to take advantage of the fact that there is still a little bit of daylight left, so I better get busy. I'm making decent progress. This is the oscillating tool I bought for removing insulation out in the V-berth, and it's just become my best friend. Again, this is such a good tool for cutting into this. There are some corners up here that are pretty hard to reach though. This is a little bit disconcerting. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but there's a crack here and there's water seeping out of it. So yeah, I wonder what'll happen if I plunge a drill into this. I drilled this hole and I see it filling up with water, very slowly but nonetheless filling up with water. I also see a couple of cracks here and here. And I'll get back to what this is in the end of this video. These corners are pretty tricky, I can't really get to them. I'll swing by the hardware store tomorrow to see if they've got a long blade for this machine. If you can get a blade about this long, I should be able to get into those corners. Some of you might be wondering how water got on top of this, and the answer is right here. I built this little dam because water seeps down on the inside of my mast, and to avoid getting wet socks I put these around the mast step and I drilled a hole right here. And of course water that seeps down here ends up on top of this thing. And I did this because there's already a hole over here, so I figured that would be okay to do. But I'm not so sure anymore. I mentioned a little earlier in this video that the thing I was tapping on down there in the bilge, that's the mast step truss, and that takes the load from the mast through the mast step and transfer it onto the keel, and that's about 3 tons worth of pressure apparently. Now in the ballad, the mast step truss, oddly enough, is made out of mild steel encapsulated in some kind of thickened resin, and this fibrous material, which I don't think is plywood, it is some sort of wood-like stuff, but it's not plywood. I think that was solely used to contain the thickened resin while it was curing, so this is definitely not structural, and that's good news, I guess. But upon googling yesterday, I came across a forum thread where some guys are discussing a bit of a design flaw in the ballad, and the fact that the mast step truss is made out of mild steel, because apparently some ballads have been experiencing corrosion. And yeah, 3 tons worth of pressure and corrosion, that doesn't sound all that great. I shoved the camera in there to take a look at mine, and it looks to be in good condition, but I'll definitely create a post in that forum thread and check to see what those guys think. In that forum thread, a few guys had actually replaced the mast step truss. It's not terribly expensive, but it is a bit of a daunting task because it involves cutting away this piece of the cap and sole, removing all of this, and then chiseling away at that big block of thickened resin until you can get that mild steel out of here, and then building some sort of replacement and putting it all back together. So it is a bit of a daunting task. It's getting late here. It's almost 9 o'clock. I haven't had my dinner yet, and I want to make sure that I edit and publish this video before heading to bed. Speaking of dinner, tonight's dinner will be a nice big salad. Yeah, that'll make me feel like a real man. No. Well, I have a lot to consider. I won't have time to replace the Mast truss now. I guess I could do it in the spring, but it's going to be a really annoying job, and I'd much rather be sailing. So, yeah, I have a lot to consider, and I guess I'll figure it out. So, yeah, that's it for this video, guys. See you! Jökull and I hope you've enjoyed this video. To be notified about new content, please click subscribe. If you're new to the channel, I suggest you check out the introduction playlist. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and feel free to leave a comment.